Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. Anyway, hello, everyone. This is Matthew, who's speaking, or should I say, Gobo? Gobo, where does that name sound familiar? Hey, is anyone in Wembley? I thought Red was here. Maybe Emoki's somewhere in this place. Or Boober? It must be down in Fraggle Rock or something. Fraggle Rock! I'm going to give you the history of Fraggle Rock and the characters. Our five favorite little Fraggles. So, let's start with this. So, Fraggle Rock debuted in 1983 as one of the first shows involving the collaboration of the Henson International Television and Entertainment from 1989 and the international arm of Jim Henson Productions. Jim Henson is a big name in this world because I think he was the guy that was affiliated with the Muppets, and I think that Fraggle Rock is where the Muppets came from, or I think it was the other way around, because I think the Muppets gave Jim Henson the idea to create Fraggle Rock. At least I think that's right. The co-production brought together British regional ITV franchise holder television in South, CBC television, and US pay TV service, Home Box Office, and the Jim Henson Company, then known as Henson Associates. Filming took place on a Toronto soundstage. The avant great poet B.P. Nicol worked as one of the show's writers. In the early days of development, the script called The Fraggles Woozles, pending the devising of a more suitable name. Henson described the Fraggle Rock series as a high-energy, raucous musical romp. It's a lot of silliness. It's wonderful. The program accessible to audiences of all ages, and use the fantasy creatures as an allegory to deal with serious issues such as prejudice, spirituality, personal identity, the environment, and social conflict. In 2009, as part of the Jim Henson Foundation's donation of puppets to the Center for Puppetry Arts, the Atlanta Museum displayed many of the original puppet characters from Fraggle Rock in their exhibition. Jim Henson wonders from his workshop. Alright, now it's time to take you through our 5 favorite Fraggles. So, let me describe to you what in the world all these Fraggles are. The Fraggles are anthropomorphic creatures about 22 inches, 1.8 feet tall, with fur in a wide variety of colors and a tail similar to a lion's, with a tuft of fur on the end. They live in a network of caves called Fraggle Rock, populated by a variety of creatures, and seeming to connect to at least 2 different worlds in separate dimensions of time and space. Fraggles spend much of their carefree lives in play, exploring their worlds and generally enjoying themselves. However, at the same time, they maintain a complex culture and society, with each individual having rights and responsibilities. They have basic skills with tools and with rudimentary machinery, and the concept of war is known to them. Although wars between Fraggles are very rare. Fraggles live on a diet of vegetables, especially radishes. If individuals touch their heads together before falling asleep, they can share dreams. So, there's plenty of Fraggles down there in Fraggle Rock, but in the show, it primarily focuses on 5 specific Fraggles. There's Gobo, Moki, Wembley, Boober, and Red. So I'm going to take you through all 5 of them. So we're going to start with Gobo. Gobo, who is performed by Jerry Nelson in the original live action series, John Torgale in Fraggle Rock Rock-On and Fraggle Rock Back to the Rock. It is voiced by Townsend Coleman in the animated series. He's the leader of the 5 main Fraggles. He has the mindset of a young teenager and is usually level-headed and practical for a Fraggle. Preferring to control most situations, he plays a guitar made from a gourd and often goes on trips to explore the lesser-known tunnels of Fraggle Rock. Apparently more out of a sense of obligation to and admiration for his uncle, Traveling Matt. Then, and from a personal inclination, but he nevertheless enjoys these adventures. An unfailing pragmatist, he resists the influence of his friends. Gobo has an orange complication or complexion, I can't understand that word, and purple hair. And he wears a yellow sweater with a brown vest. In early episodes, he wears a dark magenta cardigan. During the outer space segments, Gobo is operated by Mike Quinn, with Jerry Nelson still performing his voice. He was designed by Michael K. Frisch and built by Carol E. Wilcox and Tim Miller. Next one, Moki. Moki is performed by Catherine Mullen in the original live-action series. Donna Kimball in Fraggle Rock Rock-On and Fraggle Rock Back to the Rock, and voiced by Mona Marshall in the animated series. Moki is highly spiritual and artistic. She's a little bit hippie type. She usually remains quiet and contemplative, though even she can get annoyed from time to time. Moki often enjoys painting and writing poetry, although, according to the episode Moki's Funeral, her friends Gobo, Boober, Wembley, and Red do not always enjoy listening to her poems, especially ones about death and unusually long ones about friendships. She functions as the optimist of the group, trying to see the best in everyone and everything, and comforting her friends when no such bright side can be found. According to episode 15, in whatever that one is, Moki can make friends quite easily because of her optimistic personality. Though spiritual and serene, Moki has the dangerous job of procuring radishes from the Gorg's garden. Moki has mauve skin and slightly purple, pinkish, and light blue-green hair. She wears a grayish-brown robe-like sweater and later an actual turtleneck sweater under the robe like a sweater. starting in the Great Rash Famine. She also wears the up top from a soda can as a necklace pendant. Moki Fraggle's puppet regularly switches back and forth between live hands and rod hands, depending on the requirements of the scene. During those times, Moki's right hand is usually performed by Trish Leaper, although she is the only Fraggle character to have movable eyelids, which open wide when scared, excited, or surprised. Moki thinks more about the heart and is the oldest of the Fraggle group, serving as a den mother. In one episode, Moki proved herself worthy of joining Candace and his minstrels, but ultimately chose to remain with her friends. She was designed by Michael K. Fritsch, who is the husband of Moki's performer, Catherine Mullen, and built by Jan and Rodstow. Now there's Wembley. Wembley, who is performed by Steve Whitmire in the original series, John Terragilla in Fraggle Rock I, Jordan Lockhart in Fraggle Rock Back to the Rock, and Bob Bergen in the animated series. Frank Cordero in Fraggle Rock On is Gobo's roommate and best friend. He is the youngest of the Fraggles. While kind, he often appears nervous and pathologically wishy-washy. His name has become Fraggle slang for an indecisive person. However, his insistence on seeing all sides of a situation is suggested to grant him especially strong empathy. Starting with the episode The 30-Minute Walk Week, and in later episodes, Wembley works with the fire department as their siren. Wembley looks greenish yellow with yellow hair. He wears a white shirt with palm trees on it, sometimes two identical ones, as a gag about his indecisiveness, which he refers to as his banana tree shirt. As quite a talented percussionist, he often plays bongo drums. He was designed by Michael K. Fritsch and built by a Raleigh Cruson. Next is Boober. Boober, who's performed by Dave Galls in the live-action series, John Targilla in Fraggle Rock On, Frank Mushoker in Fraggle Rock Back to the Rock, and voiced by Rob Paulsen in the animated series. Dave Galls in Fraggle Rock On and Fraggle Rock Back to the Rock is the smallest Fraggle and the most intelligent, though unfortunately often depressed and worried as a result. He prefers to live alone and his eyes are usually not visible. Boober almost always expresses a nervous, cautious attitude and displays hypochondriac tendencies, and he deeply ingrained in superstitions he struggles to overcome. He has so much knowledge that he is actually a capable medic to the other Fraggles. As evidenced in the later seasons, he is fond of cleaning and especially laundry. A running gag depicts him as tending to socks, which no Fraggle visibly wears. Otherwise, Boober is an avid reader. He likes to share his talent as a chef and an interest in blues music with his harmonica. Boober is greenish blue, befitting his personality, with reddish orange hair, and usually wears a red hat and a brown scarf. He was again designed by Michael K. Fritsch and built by Leslie E. Ash. Next is Red Fraggle. Red Fraggle is performed by Karen Prell in the live-action series, and Fraggle Rock Back to the Rock, and is voiced by Barbara Goodson in the animated series. Red has an exuberant and athletic nature in contrast to her best friend Moki. She is one of the best swimmers among the Fraggles. That must explain her athletic nature. Red has a yellowish-orange hue, red hair, and wears a red sweater. She is also highly cynical of her friends' plans and ideas, and often teases Gobo about his uncle traveling Matt, occasionally yawning while he reads the postcards, or insisting in Gobo by calling Matt's adventures fiction and fairy tales, etc. While on the surface, she tends to be competitive, stubborn, arrogant, and rather insensitive on the inside. Red has proven to be one of the friendliest of the Fraggles, performing second and only to Wembley. Red, like Gobo, wants to be in control, and there is often friction between them over who should be the one in charge, although she has admitted she secretly admires Gobo. And the two are mostly playful with each other. During the course of the show, Red and Moki become roommates. They get off to a rocky start before improving their friendship. Yeah, so there's that. Then, of course, you have Uncle Traveling Matt. I guess that makes it 6. Uncle Traveling Matt was performed by Dave Goelz in the live-action series, John Tartaglia in Fraggle Rock Rock On, Frank Musiclet in the selected episodes of Fraggle Rock Back to the Rock, Kevin Clash in selected episodes of Fraggle Rock Back to the Rock, and voiced by Patrick Pinney in the animated series. So, Uncle Traveling Matt is always everywhere, explaining why he's always traveling. So, he spends most of the series in outer space, which is the Fraggle Rock's perspective of the human world. He sends postcards back to his nephew, describing his adventures there. He interacts with and often ends up interfering with the daily lives of humans, known to the Fraggles as the silly creatures. He sometimes refers to himself as Matthew. He identifies the room filled with entrances to outer space as the T. Matthew Fraggle Room. His name puns on a traveling match, the green screen technique used to produce his film segments. Interesting. Very interesting. Now, of course, there's so many other characters all over the show. You have the Doozers, which is like little mini construction workers. You see them all the time. I'm on Fraggle Rock. Even in the video of their beloved theme song. But the silly creatures is another big thing. I know there's two very specific ones that there are two very specific silly creatures that people never miss on Fraggle Rock. There's Doc, who's portrayed by Gerald Parks in the live-action series, and is voiced by John Stephenson in the animated series. He's a inventor in the original North American version of the show and a former barber. His workshop has a Fraggle hole that leads into Fraggle Rock. Yeah, it's right in the corner of his workshop is that little hole that occasionally Gobo comes out of. He goes into Doc's workshop to retrieve the postcards from the wastebasket where Doc throws them. Doc remains unaware of the Fraggles' existence. In the second to last episode, he finally learns that the Fraggles exist and befriends them. Matt also returns home to Fraggle Rock. Doc learns about all of them. Due to the wisdom of majority, the trash heap where state, you cannot leave the magic. A magical portal opened up in Fraggle Rock that enabled Gobo and his friends to go to where Doc is currently living. In the animated series, Doc's head isn't shown. In the live-action series finale, the theme song is played in one as the credit roll, and Doc delivers the last line of "Down in Fraggle Rock," punctured by a bark from his little old furry dog Sprocket. Speaking of which, Sprocket. And Sprocket, it's that little dog that is always lying in Doc's workshop. And Sprocket was performed by Steve Whitmire in the live action series. John Tartaglia in Fraggle Rock Back to the Rock, and voiced by Rob Paulson in the animated series. And he, of course, as I said, he is Doc's dog. He has seen the Fraggles and tries in vain to prove their existence to his owner. On a few occasions, he has actually ventured into Fraggle Rock and encountered the Fraggles, Doozers, and Gorgs, and is capable of saying Gobo's name. Despite being a live hand Muppet, Steve Whitmire is assisted in performing him by Karen Prell, who handles Sprocket's right hand and wagging tail. I think that about covers all the main people in Fraggle Rock and its little history. All right, I hope you enjoyed all that.